Hi everyone, my name is Ashley with Clover Patch Knits. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning back to my channel, welcome back to you as well. If you are new here on this channel, I do talk about everything great and wonderful regarding knit and crochet. So if that's like your new hobby, or you just want to learn about the wonderful world of these hobbies, I know you'll love this channel. So y'all, I want to start off by sharing with you all some socks that I made, because y'all, I'm so excited to share these, because when I tell you, making socks has been a journey for me, but at least I have some that I can share that I finished. I can't remember the last time I filmed a podcast, if I had even finished a sock or not, but if I have shared this sock that I made, I'm going to share it again. So this is the first one that I made. In this sock, I used the Arne Carlos their sock yarn, and the pattern that I used for this sock was the Crazy Lady sock design. I think that's her name, but for this sock, I believe I used either her vanilla sock pattern using the double pointed needles that she has, or the 9-inch circular. I feel like for this one I use her double pointed needle vanilla sock pattern. I can't remember 100%, but this is how it looks. I usually don't like to wear my socks this long, but I kind of just wanted to practice, and plus only made one of these because y'all, I'm just practicing. I'm practicing on what vanilla sock pattern that I like, and also what sock yarn that I like, just because I haven't made socks in many years. So I'm kind of practicing, but I did make one of these. And the sock yarn, so the Arne Carlos sock yarn, I never bought that yarn before, but I know I definitely will be buying some more, just because when I have walked around my house with the one sock that I've made, y'all, I didn't even make another one, but in my one sock, when I walked around the house with my one sock, it is very comfortable, and the yarn is, it's thick enough, not too thick, but it's thick enough that I definitely will buy some more. I think when I bought the Arne Carlos sock yarn, I think I spent around $15 US, which was pretty good, because so for this full sock length, and this sock is very long, but for this full sock length, I didn't even use a full skein of yarn. So if you like shorty socks, you can buy yourself one skein of that yarn and make yourself just a pair of socks, which that's pretty good for $15. Now if you like your socks super long, you may have to buy you might have to buy 2 skeins of yarn, which I did buy 2 skeins of yarn because I wanted to give myself just a little bit of extra yarn. So I am deciding, also I'm deciding on, it's like, do I keep this sock just kind of like as a souvenir for my first sock that I've completed in years, or do I take this yarn out because I really want to make myself a shorty pair in this yarn? So I may end up taking this sock out, this may end up taking the yarn out of the sock and making myself a shorty pair, because I love this this yarn. And so the next sock that I practice, I also use the same Crazy Lady sock vanilla sock pattern, but for this sock right here, now this is my shorty version, because like I said, I'm testing. I know I like my socks not as long as this one, so I was like, let me try a shorty version. So this sock right here comes right above my ankle. Now I know, so with this sock, I did about 10 rows on my cuff, and I probably would have liked if I did about 20 rows, because this short is this sock, oh my gosh, this sock is a little bit too short for my liking. So it's so funny, it's like this one's a little bit too long, this one's a little bit too short. So the next time I make myself some shorty socks, I will be making my cuff part a little bit longer. But for this sock, I use the Cascade Heritage yarn in the color, I think the name is called Fuchsia, and I also still use the Crazy Lady sock vanilla sock pattern. Now for this one, I use the 9-inch circular pattern that she has, and with this sock that I made, I used my ChiaoGoo shorty circular needle set that I have. I think the last time I made a podcast, I shared how I really wasn't enjoying my ChiaoGoo shorty set that I bought. Y'all, I will be honest, they're still not my favorite. Now, am I still glad that I bought them? Yes, I did, because I'm still learning how to hold those needles. Like, I have to hold those shorty needles a lot different than my other regular ChiaoGoo needles that I have. So I'm still working through the learning curve. Now, when I made this sock, I will say I pushed through and I made the full sock with my ChiaoGoo shorties. making this sock was a lot more comfortable with the shorties compared to the first time I tried to use it, but it's still not at the comfort level that I am used to, so I still have to practice. Like I said, I'm still glad that I bought my shorty set, but are they like my favorite needle set? No, they are not. But I still am glad that I bought it. I'm still going to continue to practice with my shorties. I think that's a lot of it. It's just because I'm not 100% comfortable with those shorty needles. That's why I don't really like them as much. But like I said, I'm going to keep making socks and practicing, because I feel like once I figure out how to hold those shorty needles, I will like those a lot more. But going back to my socks, because I also wanted to compare the sock yarn. So with this one, like I said, I used the Cascade Heritage sock yarn, and this is the Arne Carlos. And the thing that's so funny about these is because both of these yarns have the same fiber content. If I can remember, I think both of these yarns is like 75% wool and 25% nylon. But these yarns feel very, very different. So with this one, I can say, like, when I'm walking around the house and my one sock in this one, it is very slippery, and I really don't kind of like that one. Like this, the Arne Carlos yarn has a lot more grip to the floor, like when you're walking, so it's not as slippery. And another thing, this Cascade Heritage yarn, it is very, I can tell it's a lot thinner. And like I said, that's so interesting to me because the fiber content of the yarns are the same, but yet they feel differently. So with the Cascade Heritage yarn, like if I'm just laying in bed and kind of want to put some socks on, I will use the Cascade Heritage yarn because the Cascade Heritage yarn, I don't think I mentioned this one, it is very affordable. I think when I got this yarn, I spent around maybe $5 or $6 US. So that's amazing. And even like in one of my Cascade Heritage skeins of yarn that I bought for this sock that I made, I didn't even use the full amount of yarn, so I still have like half of the yarn left, so I can make a pair of socks with one skein of yarn for the shorty set that I made. So that is pretty great. But like I said, if I want to have some socks where I'm walking around the house and kind of just doing activities and things like that with my socks, I'm definitely going to be using my Arne Carlos sock yarn, because this sock yarn, the Arne Carlos sock yarn, it more so reminds me of the socks that I just have in my collection. That's kind of how it feels. So yeah, I guess the yarn is kind of like for different, if you want to make socks that are just like something that you wear if you're laying in bed, you know, you want to kind of have your feet a little bit cozy or whatever, definitely use the Cascade Heritage yarn. But if you want to walk around and actually like use your socks, definitely use the Arne Carlos sock yarn. But like I said, both of the yarns, I love them. The Arne Carlos sock yarn comes in like an array of beautiful, beautiful colors, and the Cascade Heritage yarn comes in an array of beautiful colors as well. Now with the Arne Carlos sock yarn, I feel like it just comes in these multiple different colors. I'm not sure if they have just like one color sock yarn. I need to look into that, because if they do, I would get some just like the singular color sock yarn if they have some of that. Because I was thinking, I was like, okay, I like both yarns. Like if the Arne Carlos had just like a singular color sock yarn, you maybe could do like mix and match with the Cascade Heritage yarn just to give yourself a little bit more grip. I think that would also work out as well. But I will have to see if, like I said, Arne Carlos, if the sock yarn, if they have it in just singular colors, or is it just in kind of like this marl kind of stripy color situation. But anyway, I love my socks. Like I said, I need to actually make a pair of socks, because so far this is all I have. So I can't like walk around with one short sock and one long sock. I guess I can, because we have free will, right? So I guess I can walk around with a long sock and a shorty sock. But I know the next time I make my pair of socks, I would like to make myself a shorty version. Definitely a lot more longer than this, because this is a little bit too short for my liking. But yeah, that's how my socks have been going. Now I will say, during my sock journey, because so when I made socks about 7 years ago, I did not love sock making back then, but I wanted to give sock making a try again because y'all, every time I see socks on Instagram and stuff like that, I just love knit socks. They're so cute to me. So I was like, I want to get back into sock knitting. So since I have been practicing on my sock knitting, am I in love with sock knitting? No. Not yet, because I think I'm not 100% in love with sock knitting yet because I'm still practicing and just, like I said, trying to figure out like what sock yarn that I like and how I like to make my sock needles, or how I like to make my socks rather. I'm still like trying to figure that out. Now y'all, the question is, do I enjoy making socks? The answer to that is no. Not yet. I really not enjoy making socks because when I made socks about 7 years ago, I did not enjoy making them back then, which is why I never made anymore. But y'all, I want to be a part of the sock knitting community because I love looking at knit socks. I think they're really cute. So I'm going to have faith in myself that I'm going to enjoy sock knitting. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm not comfortable with sock making. Like a lot of times when I have made socks with especially those short needles, those circular needles, my hands are hurting, and that's a lot of why like I said, I'm not comfortable. Now I know when I made my sock with the double pointed needles, that was a lot more comfortable. So maybe when I make myself another pair of socks, because I plan on them to be shorties, because I like wearing my socks kind of short, and also it doesn't take that long when you make your socks in the shorty version. So I probably will make one sock with a double pointed needle and another with the circular needle because I still want to practice using my Chow Goose shorty. Y'all, I be trying to get out of using those Chow Goose shorties just because they're not my favorite, but I need to use them because I've bought them, so I need to use them because I don't want them to go to waste. And I really wanted that needle set, those shorty needle, or those Chow Goose shorty needle sets for a really long time, so I at least want to use them. So yeah, the next time I make my shorty set, because I also plan on using the same pattern that I used for this one, the Crazy Lady sock design, that vanilla sock pattern that she has. So that's probably what I'll do, because like I said, I still want to practice with my Chow Goose shorty. So make one with a double pointed needle and make another one with my shorty circular 9-inch needle. That's another thing. I need to look into making socks 2 at a time because y'all, that second sock syndrome has been getting me. That's why I didn't make another one for this one or the other one. I was just like, I didn't feel like making another one. So maybe I need to look into making 2 socks at a time. Maybe they'll make me like sock knitting a little bit more, because it's like once you get done with one, I'm like, I have to make the other one. I don't want to. So maybe I need to look into that too. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that, of making 2 socks at a time, because I feel like 7 years ago when I was making socks, I think I did try that one time as well, making the 2 socks at a time. I can't remember if I enjoyed it or not. Probably not, because I just didn't like making socks back then, but I need to retry. I'm gonna retry, add that on my list of retrying, of making 2 socks at a time. And then also I know when I make my pair of socks again, so on this one I just made like a regular cuff, but I would like to make my shorty socks, I want to make my cuff a lot longer, a little bit longer than this, because on this sock I did like 10 rows of cuff. I may do like 20 rows. I may like that a little bit more. And I feel like the next time I make my sock, I may want to try it with like having the cuff where you kind of like fold it down, so it's kind of like a double folded cuff. If that's, yeah, I think that's what you call it. But that's what I want to do. I think that I'll like that a little bit more. So yeah, that's how my sock journey has been going, y'all. Wish me luck, because I'm going to continue to practice making socks. So like I say, y'all, I want to be a part of the sock knitting community, okay? Like I've been tired of being left out. I love looking at socks. So like I said, wish me luck. So I think the next thing I'm going to share, I'm looking at my notes if y'all see me looking over, but yeah, I think I want to share about what I started working on today before I started filming. So I started working on the Islet Raglan by Layla Raven. Y'all, this is so beautiful. And I saw this on a reel by the Farmer Daughters Designs Instagram. This, I think she made this reel like a long time ago. But I saw, so she made this raglan into a tea version, and she had it in like the most beautiful green color, and I was like, well, what is that? I have to make it. So I started making it myself. So the color and the yarn that I'm using, so this is what I'm using. I'm going to hold these yarns together double. And y'all, that's another thing. So when I bought the pattern, I did not read it, y'all. I always say this, I need to get better at this. Like, before I buy the yarn, I need to read the pattern, if not to the full entirety, at least half of the pattern, because I don't know how I missed it. I thought in this raglan, I thought in the pattern you only use like one strand of fingering weight yarn, but you use fingering weight and mohair held together. So when I bought the yarn for this pattern, I only bought this one. And then as I was working on the raglan today, I was like, wait, I'm supposed to do mohair and fingering weight held together, which I probably could have just made this with just one strand of fingering weight, but I kind of liked how the raglan looked with the mohair and fingering weight held together. I can't remember if I said this or not, but I'm going to make mine in a tea version as well. So this yarn that I'm using, the first color that I'm using is the Farmer Daughter Fiber as well, and the color Bittersweet Nightshade, and this is the Foxy Lady yarn. Y'all, this color is so beautiful. It's like this, it's like a beautiful purple and blue color mixed together. I love this, and I paid $32 US for this skein of yarn. I got 4 skeins of these. Now for the t-shirt, that should be more than enough. So if I have some yarn left over, I may make myself like a cute headband thing. I think they'd be cute to have like a little cute headband with my tee. That may be cute. And then the mohair, thank goodness I had this mohair in my yarn collection. This has been sitting in my yarn collection for a long time, and I didn't know what I was going to do with this mohair, but now this mohair, it's their time to shine. So the mohair that I'm using is the Knitting for Olive. This is in the color Limestone. So holding these two together, like I mentioned, so let me show you all what it looks like. So this is what it looks like so far. This is how far that I have gotten, but you can already see the little like eyelet design. Let me see if I can like show it closer, but you can already see the little eyelet design right there. It's really cute, and so far I've gone to pattern. I haven't made any modifications. Well, there's nothing really much for me to modify yet. And then also so far in the pattern, because since starting this pattern, or starting this tee rather today, I read the full pattern, and there are parts in the pattern that I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Because there are parts that are a little bit confusing, but it's okay, y'all. I'm going to push through, and I'm going to figure it out. Also, when I was looking on Ravelry at this pattern, other people had mentioned there were little parts that were confusing as well, but I did see someone on Ravelry left some great notes, or tips rather, about the pattern, so I saved that. So when I get to that section in the pattern, I'm going to try to pull up the notes, because I think people said they got a little bit confused when it came to splitting for the sleeves with this raglan. I think they got a little bit confused there, but like I said, the person on Ravelry, they left some notes to help kind of clarify that section. So hopefully that will help me, because when I was reading the pattern, that is the part that I got confused on. So y'all, like I said, I gotta get better with that. Like, before I buy the yarn, I need to at least read half the pattern. Like, do y'all do that when y'all buy, like if y'all get a pattern, do y'all at least try to read the full pattern? Or are y'all kind of like me, where you're just so excited that you just like buy all the yarn before you even read the pattern? So if you are like me, put in the comments, because I feel like I'm not the only person that does that. I just get, y'all, when I find a pattern that I love, I just get so excited. I'm like, buy the pattern, get the yarn, and then I just start making my garment. But I know it would make my life a lot easier if I would read the pattern, at least half of it. So that's how it's looking. I love the color of how it looks like. I'm gonna bring it back up so y'all can see. But you can see the little like white mohair kind of, well, it's really not white, it's kind of like off whitish color, but you can kind of see it through there. I think it's going to look really cute. Now the only thing I would say that I'm a little bit concerned about, so I planned on making or wearing this tee rather like during the summertime. That's why I wanted to make this. I'm like, this would be great for the summertime. Only thing about summertime where I live in the South, it is very hot. So with me making this tee with like mohair fingering held together, I'm hoping that it's not going to be too warm for summertime. But if it is a little bit too warm, that's okay. This may be like my beginning of fall tee that I wear, because where I stay in the fall time, it still can be pretty warm. Of course, not as warm as summertime, but it still can be warm enough where I can wear like myself a short sleeve shirt or whatever during the fall time. So that may be what I end up wearing this tee for if it is a little bit too warm for summertime. And also I think I have faith in myself. I feel like I can finish this within 3 weeks. I don't think this tee is going to take me a long time. Typically tees, when I have made tees before, it did not take me a long time, so that makes me excited. But like I said, at least I think I can finish this within 3 weeks. So I love this. If you have made this raglan before, you can also share in the comments how you liked working with the pattern, if you had any parts of the pattern that were confusing but for you as well. But I'm very excited to finish this one, and I think it's gonna be beautiful. I'm going to try to be consistent with my knitting, because I actually do want to finish this one because I've got some other projects that I want to work on. So I'm gonna try to be consistent with my knitting on this project. But super excited, love this one. So now you are on to the next pattern that I want to make in the future. This is going to be my holiday Christmas sweater, because I've been wanting to make like a holiday sweater since last year. Because last year I started working on the Northern Augustin No. 6 by Anna Sophia Velling. I didn't finish that one, but I found this beautiful sweater. This is the Saratola sweater. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but this is by Eleanor Morrison. Y'all, this is it's so stunning. Like the multi design is gorgeous, but in this pattern you use light finger and weight yarn. I have seen people use just a light finger and weight yarn, just hold that one strand, or they use light finger and weight and mohair held together. I'm still trying to decide if I want to do the finger and weight and mohair held together, or just do like one strand of fingering. I'm still deciding, because like where I stay, a lot of times the fingering and mohair like held together situation is a little bit too warm. But I'll have to see when I start making the sweater if I want to do just like one strand of fingering weight and make my sweater that way, or if I want to do like fingering and mohair held together. Haven't decided that yet. But on Ravelry I paid $6.67 US dollars. I think that's how much I paid for the pattern. And so I was kind of deciding like what color do I want to do. So when I bought the pattern, I was first thinking like, do I want to do like a burgundy as my main color and have a cream color as my like contrast accent color? But I finally decided I want to do like a hunter green as my main color and have a cream color as my motif color. I think that's going to look beautiful. And the reason why the hunter green color came back to me is because I had some hunter green in my yarn collection. So I used this color for my Monday sweater by Petite Knit that I made. Like this color is so stunning. I can't remember where I bought this yarn from. I know I wrote it down somewhere, so if I can find where I wrote it down, I will put it in the description box below. But y'all, I only have like 1.5 skeins left of this, so I am hoping that the person that I bought this yarn from, they are still making this yarn. If not, if I can't find it, that's okay. I at least want to go with this color. I think that's gonna look really beautiful, especially with some brown boots. Like that's the color theme, that's kind of like the ideal I'm going for. I think that will look really beautiful. Another thing is like, when do I start on this? Because I haven't even bought the yarn. It's already June, and so I need to go ahead and like buy the yarn so I at least can start on it probably by the end of June, so I can at least have my sweater by December, the start of December, because I want to wear it in holiday time and season, or maybe wearing it a little bit before then. So I need to stop procrastinating and go ahead and buy the yarn. And that's another dilemma that I have kind of run into, because as I shared earlier, I started working on my Northern Augustin number 6. That was my original like holiday sweater. I love that one, but now I'm deciding on if I even want to finish that sweater. And it makes me so sad to say, like, I really don't want to call it quits on that sweater. But the reason why I stopped making it last year is because I needed to make a smaller size. I made it way too big. That was one thing. Overall, the fit of the sweater was not my favorite. Like, I really wish that sweater would have had some short roll shaping in it. I think that would have helped with the fit, but it's not in the pattern. So because I've never done it before, I know people do it all the time, but I don't know how to put in short rolls when it's not written in the pattern. So I probably could go somewhere on YouTube and find some short roll, like how to add short roll in your sweater and stuff like that. I just don't know how to do it. So maybe there'll be like my practice project of adding short rolls. If you all have any like tips or anything of how to do that, please put that in the comments below. Or if you have any videos or anything that you use to add short rows in your projects, please put that in the comments below, because I'm going to need it. Because like I said, I don't want to call it quits on that sweater, because I love that sweater. Like, it is so beautiful, especially with the little Christmas motif. And also the yarn that I bought for that sweater, yeah, it was pretty expensive. Like, I think so far with that sweater, I'm probably up to like around 170 US dollars. Like, that's how much I've spent so far on the yarn. And y'all, that's like pretty pricey for me personally. So I don't want that yarn to go to waste. Like, I at least want to finish the sweater. So I'm kind of deciding on what I want to do with that project. And y'all, it's so crazy to think that like it's June already and we are halfway through the year. Like, my brain is still trying to wrap my mind around that, because I've like had to look at my list of like things that I wanted to make this year. And y'all, I'm not even halfway through that list, because y'all, so I have like Crohn's disease, and so a lot of times I'm just not feeling well. And if you do not know what Crohn's disease is, that is like an inflammatory disease. So a lot of times it affects my energy. So I am extremely tired. So I had to like kind of redo my list of things I wanted to make, which is why I wanted to also start like sock knitting, because socks typically do not take as long. Because on my original like things I wanted to make in 2026, I did have quite a few sweaters on there that I wanted to make, but with my energy and the way it is with it being low, I was like, I'm either gonna have to make really short projects, like projects that do not take a long time. So like I said, that's why I'm like really trying to work on sock knitting, because socks don't take as long as sweaters. Or I probably will be making a lot of tees, because tees don't take as long either. So definitely had to redo my list, which kind of makes me a little bit sad, because I did want it to make those sweaters, but I probably won't be getting to those, because like I said, I'm tired, y'all, and I just don't have a lot of energy. But I want to know also, since we are halfway through the year, like the goals and the things that you had that you wanted to make this year, like, are y'all halfway through y'all list of what you wanted to make? Like, how is your project list looking? Or like, are you almost done with your list? Like, put in the comments below kind of where you're at, because I know, like I said, for me personally, y'all, I'm not even halfway through the list, but that's okay. Sometimes life is just a little bit unpredictable. But yeah, put in the comments, like, what is your project list looking like? Are you almost done with your list? Like, are you halfway through? Or are you like me and you're not even like finished yet, not even halfway through? So we have made it to the end of this episode, and if you stayed to watch the full episode, thank you, because you are amazing. So before I end, I gotta share with y'all the encouraging quote of the day, because y'all, I love reading an encouraging quote, because we all need some encouragement in this life. So the quote that I found says, "Be there for others, but never leave yourself behind." So I hope that gave you a little bit of encouragement for today and a great reminder. So if you enjoyed the video, you can please give me a like or subscribe. But until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.